Hello, I'm Darnell Cox with Live Young Lifestyle, and today is all about younger looking hands. So I'm gonna let you guys start coming on here. Hello. Exciting show today because it's one of the most neglected parts of our body and it gets the most use. So today we are talking about younger looking hands. Hi everybody. I want to just very quickly announce the winner from last week, which was, I was in Oahu last week and just for a very short business trip for my husband, but I did do my live there, and the winner from last week is Taylor Ray _caftans. You are the winner of the pumpkin ginger detoxifying charcoal mask and 1 hour of one-on-one healthy aging coaching with me. So I just want to explain briefly what that means. What does that mean? Oh my God, Wendy, my high school friend Wendy is here. And also, yeah, gosh, it's so good to see people week after week that are coming back, or people that I've, grown up with. I think Wendy's probably known me longer than anybody on the planet, except for my parents. So very good to see everybody. Last week we did everything for the neck and décolletage, right? How do you make that look younger? So if you missed that live, I posted it on my feed. So make sure that you click on that. And today, younger looking hands. So the winner from last week, which was the pumpkin mask and 1 hour of healthy aging coaching, was Taylor Ray _caftans. Today we have up for grabs. It's all gonna make sense, I swear, once we go through all the anti-aging treatments of hands. We have this Deferin gel, which is adapalene, which is the 3rd generation retinoid. We have cotton gloves, which I slept in last night. And we have the hyaluronic peptide perfection serum by the Perfect Derma. So this is what I am giving away today. You guys are gonna love this because you're gonna apply, you're gonna put these on and sleep with them. So this is the free gift for today. What you do is in that bottom right corner of your screen, you'll see the little send button. Click on that, invite 3 people to this live right now. And then after I post this to my feed, you tag 3 more people. So it's the little tiny, looks like a paper airplane right down there. Invite 3 people. You will go in the drawing for the Deferin gel, which is adapalene, 3rd generation, retinoid. You're gonna apply this plus this and sleep with your gloves on. So tag your 3 people right now. Last week's winner was Taylor Ray _caftans. She won a 1 hour healthy coaching session. And I just want to let you guys know what that means. So what does it mean to do a 1 hour Zoom with somebody who's a healthy aging coach? We don't just talk about these kind of treatments, although we do talk about these kind of treatments. I go through all of your skincare. I make sure your skincare is effective. We talk about weight loss. We talk about all of those stress, just the healthy lifestyle of it that expands that health span. So it doesn't only keep you on the planet for longer, but it keeps you active and healthy and functioning as long as possible. That's what a healthy aging coach does. So yes, I talk about the outside because the skin is the largest organ that we have, and it's very important, and you can tell a lot by the way somebody's skin looks. You can tell how healthy they are. So there are things that you can do from the inside out, which I address in the, hi Jackie, which I address in the one-on-one consultations, but then we also do all the fun stuff from the outside in, because it's that combination that really helps us age in the best ability that we can, looking and feeling as young as we can throughout our lifespan, no matter what your age is or what your stage of life is. So today, all about the hands. Let's get in it. Okay, guys. The reason why we talked about last week why our necks and our décolletage age quicker than the rest of us, right? It's very thin skin because we are moving our necks all the time. Guess what? We're moving even more, our hands. So our hands, because we are moving them a lot, we lose collagen in them faster and the skin becomes super thin. So when you've got thin skin, wow, look at that. When you've got thin skin, that means there's a loss of collagen and elastin. And this is, we just completely forget about our hands sometimes. Yeah, we'll rub hand cream on them, but we're constantly washing our hands. We're constantly exposing our hands to the elements. And so today is just about the hands. So my number one tip, protection. Like, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but yes, I use these. I use these all the time. I have driving gloves. I have various driving gloves. I have gloves that I wear on airplanes, because you might think that you're on an airplane and therefore you don't need sunscreen, but you would be shocked at how much UV light comes through the little portals and bounces off of everything on an airplane. So do I wear UV protection gloves on an airplane? You bet your ass I do. I mean, you have to have sunscreen on all over the place. And you know, you can't really necessarily tap on your neighbor and say, can you close all of these windows? So UV protection on your hands is so important. If I'm wearing like even just like a tank top, which I tend to live in tank tops, these I love go all the way up. So, and they have the fingertips, which are gone. So I love this as well. And the reason why I love this, if you go and get a gel manicure. Now, I love gel manicures, but they are not great. You have to just kind of balance that out, because they are not great for the aging of your hands when you put your machines in the LED lights. Some of them are old school and it's UV, and even the LED, it's not the right wavelength to be beneficial for your hands. So it's actually accelerating the aging of your hands. So if you are one that gets gel manicures, you want to do one of two things, or I do both. You want to make sure that you are using a sunscreen on the back of your hands, super, super important, and that you or use gloves like this, where somebody can still do your gel nails, but you're protecting your hands. So I have a pair of these in my glove box, because if your hands are on the steering wheel, the back of your hands it's just so much UV exposure, and we don't necessarily think about that. So now we're gonna start thinking about that, right? I'm almost 55 years old. My hands have been on this planet for 55 years through washing and sun and cleaning products and movement and all of those things that we require our hands to go through. We need to start protecting them. So above all, we're gonna get to the treatment stuff. We're gonna do some microneedling. We're gonna do some red light therapy. We're gonna get to a lot of different stuff, but if I tell you guys to do all of this and you're not protecting your hands, I'm gonna tell you right now, don't do any of this stuff, because you might be making it worse. Okay, so that's the first line of defense, UV protection. It's basically cover it up. Cover it up is so much better than using like a sunscreen, because it will block out all of it. Again, when you're doing your household chores, make sure that you're using rubber gloves, because let's say, for example, you're, doing laundry and you're touching your dirty clothes and you're putting them in the washing machine. Well, you're going to wash your hands after that. So if you just use rubber gloves while you're doing all of your household chores, and what you can also do is put a treatment on first and then use your rubber gloves, so that while you're doing your household chores, you're also protecting your hands and helping them to improve. So I love kind of that double duty. These are my sleep gloves. And yes, I did cut out a finger of them. But I'll get to these once we go through skincare, because to sleep with these cotton gloves on really helps all of the skincare to absorb. So now we're gonna go to skincare. So just like our face and our neck and our chest and hopefully our bodies, we're also using those actives that help to make a difference, right? So we can protect all we want, but then what happens when we already have fine lines and wrinkles? When we have that thin, crepey skin? When we've got that, the bones that are showing through. Because when I can't even talk. When the skin thins, you can see the underlying anatomy. Not so pretty, right? You can see the bones. The bones get more defined. You can see the blood vessels, the veins underneath, and it becomes crepey. So this is what we want to thicken up. And how we thicken this up, first line of defense, is skincare. So just like you use retinoids on your face at night, you want to use retinoids on your hands as well. But when I talked last week about the fragility of the thinner skin on our neck, we have to treat our hands the same way because they're very prone to dryness. So at night, you've got some options, but you want to do more of a, just like you would create a barrier of retinoids or use a lesser over-the-counter retinoids when you're dealing with sensitive skin or with the fragile, thinner skin, you want to do the same thing with your hands. So I have some options here. I want to make sure that I always give you like drugstore options, but this Olay Retinol 24, actually, there's a lot of science behind this and it's a great product, super economical. So what you could do is you put a tiny bit on the back of your hands. So this is just a retinoid. Boy, my hands are I'm gonna be putting a lot of products on. So you put this on the back of your hands, and then you can either put your sleep gloves on and go to sleep, or what I like to do is then put like a squalene. Squalene is like an oil that really helps to plump stuff up, much like a hyaluronic acid, but hyaluronic acid is an oil-free, and this is an oil. It's just, it's lovely. So you've got like an oil base, and you've got your retinoid underneath, and then you can put your cotton glove on and go to sleep. And so why cotton? It really kind of helps. You would think that it absorbs the product, but it really kind of helps keep everything in there. And even though it gets on the cotton, it's still touching your skin all night. And then this just goes in the washing machine with your normal wash. So I love these. I have these, kind of boxes of these everywhere. The winner for today in the giveaway is going to get a pair of gloves along with the Deferin gel, which is adapalene, and the hyaluronic peptide. So you could put this after your retinoid, right? And then you sleep with your gloves on. Okay, so let's move on. So that is just an over-the-counter retinoid that I put on. But you can also use things like, I love this by Paula's Choice. This is a 1% retinol treatment. And, as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that it's not always a go big or go home when it comes to chemical stuff for your face. Sometimes you want to take a little bit of a break from like the prescription strength tretinoin and go to more over-the-counter stuff. And nothing can be more true when you're talking about fragile skin. So this is also a great product. Put a little bit on the back of your hands, follow with a moisturizer of your choice, or like I like to use the squalane oil, and sleep with the sleep gloves. Now you don't have to sleep with the sleep gloves. Sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, mine end up, at the other end of the bed in the middle of the night. I just got a question. Can we put tretinoin on hands? You can. You just wanna make sure that it's not too strong for you. So if your hands get super, super dry afterwards, you could start just like you do trying to break your face in with using tretinoins, these prescription strength retinoids. You do the same thing for your hands. So maybe you only do it on a Sunday. You put a little dab, you don't need a lot, put a little dab of the tretinoin on the back of the hands, rub that in, followed by a moisturizer of your choice, and that could even be like Aquaphor. I kid you not, this is a super good combo if you want to like plump up that skin and your skin is super dehydrated. So prescription strength tretinoin on the back of the hands works just great. What I have found that I'm really loving is, which is the one that's up for grabs, is this Deferin gel. And the reason why is because it's not photoactive. So you can use this. It's a 3rd generation tretinoin. You can use this in the morning and at night. So when you use it at night, you use it just like I had showed you, a little drop on the back of the hands. When you rub this into your fingers, don't rub it into your fingers when they're flat. Because look what you're missing. You're missing all of these little creases. So bend your fingers, get the active product, which is in this case adapalene, into those cracks, right? So that you're really getting a good treatment in there. So you can either follow this up with, a moisturizer of your choice and go to sleep. You can also, I want to make perfectly clear, you can also use the chemical peels that we had talked about on I think it was a couple Instagram lives ago, but we talked about chemical peels and which chemical peel is right for you. So when you're talking about skincare, you want to treat your back of your hands much like you do your face, but a little bit lesser concentration. And the same thing is true for chemical peels. I wouldn't necessarily put a chemical peel on the back of my hands that's the same concentration as my face. Just like the chemical peel that goes on my neck and my décolletage is a larger molecule of an AHA. So this by Sunday Riley, Good Genes, this is a lactic acid treatment. And like we learned a couple weeks ago, the lactic acid and the mandelic acids are larger molecules, so they have less irritation. But they do the job. They do the job, you guys. So if you did this once a week on the back of your hands, there's also this by Biossance, which is a squalene lactic acid resurfacing night serum. This is great too because it's kind of adding, it's the lactic acid with, that kind of hydration, plumping effect. So I love this too for the back of the hands. But for these kind of peels, they're not, you don't rinse them off, but this is the kind of acid that you're looking for the back of your hands because it's more fragile. So a mandelic acid, like this one from the Ink Key, and the Good Genes by Sunday Riley. These are great acids to put on the back of your hands. Start with once a week, and then let's see what happens. So when we're talking about skincare in the daytime, it's the same kind of stuff that you would use on your face in the morning. And perhaps next week I should do the ultimate skincare routine so that we can really get into ingredients that are necessary to make a difference. I actually had a good friend of mine, I'm not gonna throw her under the bus, but a good friend of mine say, oh my gosh, have you tried this? Have you tried this cream on your face? It's amazing, amazing, amazing. And so I said, send me a picture of the back of the bottle so I can see what's in it. And there was nothing active in that cream. It was literally like a hyaluronic base with a bunch of peptides. So it was moisturizing. It was over moisturizing the face. And so next week, we're gonna do the ultimate skincare guide where you get an active, right? Tretinoin is an active. These kind of peels, these are active ingredients. It's not just throwing moisture on top of it, okay? So that's our nighttime. Now let's look at what we do with our hands in the day. So we just woke up. It's so good to see. Hi, Christy. It's so good to see people here that are either new to this channel or you've been on here every week. And I'm just take a little break and just say thank you guys so much, because those of you who have been here for my first one, you realize I was super nervous on my first one and I didn't think that I would like doing these lives because I'm a tiny bit of a perfectionist. So I like to make sure I've said, I'm not bumbling my words like I am now, that I look pretty. But now you guys have seen me on these lives with no makeup, my face tore up, and I have a much different feeling about them. I actually love doing them. I love doing them. I love in real time for you guys to see what kind of treatments we can get done. We're moving on to the daytime. So just like you would put a vitamin C on your face in the morning, followed by a sunscreen, guess what we're doing to our hands? Vitamin C followed by a sunscreen. So this, again, drugstore skincare, I'm telling you, Olay is not your grandma's skincare. They have continued to improve and add active ingredients along with their longevity as a skincare company. So yes, you can get both of these. This is your nighttime with the retinol. This is your daytime with the vitamin C. You can get both of these at your Rite Aid, your Walgreens, that's where these kind of products live. I want to say it's $19, but I'm not exactly sure. So let's just, I don't think I can get this open with all of the slip that's on my hands. Oh my God, I need a gripping glove. Seriously. Okay, maybe I don't need to demo this because I'm just slipping and slipping. So you want to do a vitamin C. This comes in a cream. You can also use the serums that they have. Timeless makes it really good, affordable. 20% CE ferulic acid. SkinCeuticals makes a great product as well, 3 times the price. But both of those are great vitamin C serums, and what that does is it brightens up the hands. So not only when we age does the skin get thinner, retinoids will help that. Retinoids increase that thickness of the skin. But in addition to that, the dullness, the discoloration, the splotchiness, the sunspots that start happening, all of that stuff there's 2 products that I recommend. Vitamin C, either in the cream or in the serum, and a niacinamide. This niacinamide is by Facial Radiance. I feel like I need a tissue. Hold on one second. Oh my gosh. Oh, here we go. Sorry. I have a little bit of allergies, and so my nose is running. I apologize for that. So the 2 products that I recommend for daytime that are vitamin C based is this Olay 24 vitamin C plus peptide 24 and the Timeless 20% CE ferulic acid. But this as well, niacinamide, this is by Facial Radiance. This is great for all of those dark spots. So in the morning, you could put a little vitamin C. You add a little drop of like the niacinamide in the areas where you feel like, oh, I have some discoloration here. Remember to bend your fingers and your thumbs when you're applying that. And then you apply a sunscreen. There's a lot of sunscreens that are fine that I recommend, but I do really like this Daily Hydration by Eucerin. That's just a factor 30. It helps hydrate all day, helps protect against sun damage, and it's pretty rich. So it's like a moisturizer and a sunscreen in one. So when you apply this to the back of your hands, you're getting the moisture along with the moisture along with the protection. So you want to make sure that you keep this kind of product, these sunscreens, next to everywhere where you wash your hand. Because if I have this in the kitchen, next to the kitchen sink, I have it in the bathroom, next to the bathroom sink, so that when I wash my hands, I can reapply. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't like getting all the product on my palms as well, because then you're touching your hair, you're touching your face, and that kind of stuff gets everywhere. So what I kind of like to do is either put it there and rub the back of my hands together, but I feel like I get a better coverage when I use like one of these. So this is just a silicone little spatula. And I also have like in my bathroom, I have like a paintbrush in my toothbrush holder along with this next to it. And so when I wash my hands, I mean, it literally takes, 10 seconds after you wash your hands to protect them again. It's not a lot, but I guarantee you, if you are consistent with that, so you need to form a routine that is manageable and you can be consistent with it. And if you consistently do this, protecting your hands with sunscreen, with these kind of physical blockers, right? The driving gloves, especially when you're getting your gel manicures, your hands are going to look so much younger as you continue to age. So I just want to recap for a second, and then we will go ahead and move on. I still have some red light therapy that I'm going to be doing, and I have some microneedling that I'm going to be doing, and we've got a few little surprises. But just to recap, today is all about the hands, and if you want to be in the drawing today is for the Deferin Gel, which is adapalene. We're going to learn about more of the retinoids and the families of retinoids in next Sunday's Instagram Live, which is going to be the ultimate skincare routine to make sure that you guys have actives in your skincare routine, both morning and night, and you're not wasting your money on all of the shit that you are bombarded with for marketing. So this week's giveaway, you've got the adapalene gel, which you're going to put on the tops of your hands. You've got the cotton gloves, which you're going to sleep in. And you've got a hyaluronic and peptide, which you're going to put after the adapalene. So these three products are up for grabs. Your first thing that you need to do is hit that little send button. It's right down there. And invite 3 people. And then to this live, like now. And then once I post this to my feed, tag 3 more people, your name will go in the drawing. Last week's winner was Taylor Ray _caftans, and she won the pumpkin ginger charcoal mask along with a 1-hour healthy coaching session. I urge all of you who are really, you're at a crossroads and you really want to aim for that optimal health, to increase that health span, and look and feel your best at every age and every stage of life through the stuff that we do on the outside, which is all the fun stuff, but also what are we doing on the inside to make our skin shine, to keep us on the planet longer and feeling our best while we're doing it. I urge you to book a one-on-one session with me. It's in my linked tree on my profile, and the calendar will come up and we'll get really in there into your routine and really try to figure out what are we doing? What's your skincare? What are you eating? How are you exercising? How are you managing stress? How can we expand that health span? And that is like where my joy. That's where I forgot what was her name, Marie Kondo, find your joy. That's my joy. I found my joy. Yeah, when I get to help people expand that health span and look good while doing it. Love it. Okay, so we went through, just a quick recap, we went through all of the physical stuff that you need to be doing to block the sun. The sun causes 80% of the aging of the skin. It's even more for the hands because our hands are exposed when we're driving. We wash them, we move them a lot. Therefore, we're losing collagen at a faster rate than our face. So that's why your hands really show your age. And plus, to be honest, we're spending so much money on skincare, and what are we doing to our faces? And we're neglecting our hands. Whatever you're putting on your face, if it's on your palms, you're putting it on your face at night, rub it on the back of if you do nothing else, rub it on the back of your hands, right? Make sure that you're treating your hands the same way. So we went through all of that. We then went through some peels that would be good. So a once-a-week peel. Again, you need to treat your hands like you do your neck, which is thinner skin. So a lactic acid or a mandelic acid, those are both great. And then when we're dealing with like at night before you go to bed, you want to make sure you're doing a retinoid, like a Paula's Choice or like the Olay, even a prescription strength, but you really need to ease yourself into the prescription strengths because your hands are going to be more sensitive. Okay, now let's move on. Let's do a little bit. Oh, well, I want to tell you too, in terms of dark spots, if you have dark spots or discoloration, you want to make sure in the daytime you're doing a C, just like you would on your face, or niacinamide, which lightens dark spots. This brightens everything, and then followed by a sunscreen. Do not do any of this if you're not gonna follow with a sunscreen, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna make your skin more photosynthesis and you're gonna cause more harm than good. Okay? All right, moving on. So now we're gonna let's do a little microneedling. Okay, Dr. Pen M8, you guys have heard me talk about this so many times. When we're trying to build up the thickness of the skin, we need to do microneedling. Microneedling, retinoids, those peels, those kind of things, although they seem like they would thin the skin out, they actually thicken the dermis. And so that's what we are needing. Okay, so, oh my God, my hands are so slippery. Try to wipe them off. Okay, oh my God, I can't even get this off. Okay, got it off. I'm gonna add a 16 cartridge. So this is the Dr. Pen M8. This is in my lynch tree as well. I'm gonna add a 16 gauge cartridge. The reason why I love this machine is because it creates those micro traumas. You can spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars doing this in an office. But if you get used to this machine, you do it at home. I should have opened everything up prior to putting all these products on my hands. You can save hundreds and hundreds of dollars and get better results, in my opinion, doing this at home if you're doing it consistently. Consistency is key, folks. Can't just do something one time and think that you're gonna, all of a sudden everything's gonna be better. It's gonna be better, but you gotta do it consistently. That's how you look and feel your best as you continue to age. Please don't tell me that this is, okay, so I know it's working. I am going to add a little bit of hyaluronic acid to my little silicone cup. Anything that you guys do in office, I don't care what it is. If you're doing a laser, if you're doing it doesn't matter. Anything that you're doing in office, a peel, whatever it is, just ask them to do it to your hands. I do that all the time. Things that if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see there's a lot of lasers, Morpheus 8 that I've done, which combines radio frequency with microneedling, the clear and brilliant laser, pico laser, IPL, all of those things that you would do to treat your face and your neck. You just ask them, can you do the back of my hands? So I've had IPL on my hands, which takes those little brown spots away. I've done IPL on my hands even though I don't have brown spots. And the reason is because it's preventative. So a lot of the treatments that I do are preventative. So we're gonna do a little bit of microneedling on my hand, just so you guys can kind of see. It's a little harder to do because your hands are so bony and bendy, but we're gonna do it. I'm gonna get this down to, so I have a 16 gauge needle on here. I'm gonna go down pretty low. I'm gonna go to like a 0.25. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you guys. I've got a little hyaluronic acid so I can create some slip. And I'm gonna really get in here with this line too, because that's just a movement line, but all of these little lines, the pore size, if you notice your pore size changes too on the back of your hands. And I'm just gonna get that in there like that. It's creating these little micro traumas. And what happens with that is that when you create micro traumas, now when I get to my fingers, I'm gonna have to just stamp. So there's two different ways to use this machine. You can do these circular movements, which I tend to use on my whole face, neck, décolletage. But when you come to places like this that are bony, I like to just stamp. Let me see if I can do this and show you guys. So you just hold it for a little bit, move to the next section. And this is creating micro traumas that calls on the power of my body to come to the rescue. And it's saying, something's injured here. Let me create collagen. Let me create elastin. Let me resurface a little bit. So that this is tricking your body into thinking that it was younger. We when we were little and we were growing, our skin was growing, we had so much collagen just racing through our bodies, trying to get our skin to grow. And now we're all grown up, and our collagen starts to severely decrease by like 1 to 3% from the time you're in your 20s. Well, when you're in your 40s, you hit menopause, it's like, it goes way down. And so what we're doing by creating these microtraumas is we are tricking our bodies into thinking that it needs to come to the rescue to create collagen. So that just gives you a little demo on the microneedling. I do want to do my other hand. So I'm gonna get a little bit of hyaluronic on here, and then I'm gonna do a little bit of a recap while I'm doing this. So just remember, the reason why our hands show our age more than any other part of our body is they're the ones doing the most work. They're moving the most. You know, when there's a lot of movement, like our eyes, around our mouth, on our necks, that's the part that our collagen gets depleted quicker. So somebody said, cool device, I just ordered the roller type. The rollers are also great for the hands, and for everything. But the reason why people are starting to step away from the rollers is because when you do a derma roller and you're rolling these needles across your skin, you're creating like a triangular perforation because the roller is moving. This device goes straight up and down. So I don't know if you can see that, but the needles, let me see if I can turn it off and you can see it. The needles go straight up and down. So there's 16 needles in here, surgical steel. This is completely sterile. And to be honest with you, I should have washed my hands before, but it's fine. And I also, you could also do a little bit of alcohol wipes between things, just so you make sure that you're being super sterile. But if these kind of devices scare you, you've got like a couple options. You can book a one-on-one session with me, and we will go side by side, and we will give ourselves these kind of treatments, and I will walk you through all of it so that you're not afraid, because a lot of people buy these kind of devices and then never use them because you take them out of the box and you see the needles and you're like, whoa, I don't know if I want to do that. It's a little bit scary. So you can book a one-on-one session with me, and I will walk you through all of this. Can you please show the microneedling machine you're using? I missed it. Yes, I'm going to recap in just a second. There's another way to do this though too, and still get those nice clean perforations. And this is on my Amazon store. So if you go to my linked tree, not now, but if you go to my linked tree and you click on the little Amazon icon, it'll take you to my Amazon storefront, and these kind of devices will be in there. And I think most of the products that I spoke about, if they're not, please direct message me and I will send you a link. I'm not a brand ambassador for any of this stuff. I used to be for them, but I stopped doing that. I'm trying to kind of get away from the affiliate marketing and get more into the teaching, because I'm finding that I'm having a lot of joy doing that. So the one-on-one coaching, that is my jam, and I'm loving these lives. So here is a micro needling stamp. So you could stamp this. You just press and lift, and it's leaving these microscopic perforations, still calling on my body to produce collagen and elastin, still resurfacing all of that in a much less intimidating form, which are these stamps. Now, the reason why I don't use these as often is because you do have to sterilize them. These are not a one-time use. When you use the Dr. Pen M8, every time you use it, you're opening up a new sterile set of needles. This one, you're not. So I have a spray bottle. I don't have it out here, but I have a spray bottle of alcohol. So after I get done with this, I rinse it under the water for, a little bit under hot water. I let it dry, and then I spray the whole thing down with like a 99% alcohol, and that like kills everything. This dials from 0 millimeters all the way to 2.5. No, to 3. I can't imagine doing a 3. That's pretty deep. I wouldn't do that. But I normally do, I would do this around a 1, maybe a 1.5, and stamp that in. Okay, I'm gonna do the other I'm gonna do the other hand right now. I have to keep an eye on the time because I do not want to go over. I realized that if I go over the hour, it won't post automatically to my feed. So for those of you just joining, make sure that you invite your 3 people to go into the giveaway drawing. So I see some of you guys just now joining. So that little arrow, the little airplane, the send button that's right down there. It's so easy to do and it does not take you away from the live. You click that button, you click on 3 people, you come back to the live. That's it. You've invited 3 people. That's your first step to go in the drawing. This week, I'm giving away a Deferin gel, which is a 3rd generation tretinoin. It's adapalene. This is so effective. I use this on my face. I use this on my hands. You can use this on your hands morning and night. This is by the Perfect Derma. This is a hyaluronic and peptide. And then the white cotton gloves. So all of this is up for giveaway this week. Invite your 3 people. When I post this to my main feed, tag 3 more people, you will go into the drawing. Last week's winner was Taylor Ray _caftans. She won the charcoal mask along with a 1-hour healthy coaching session one-on-one with me. I can't wait to get in there, Taylor Ray. And in case Taylor Ray has been, she's been to a couple of different ones of these, but she makes these amazing headbands, these crushed velvet headbands that I've also worn on my lives before. So I'm so glad. And she does these turbans as well. So when you're, you're having a bad hair day, or you want to get your hair all out of your face because you're about to do one of these kind of treatments, a goopy treatment. She makes these amazing little headbands that I love. Okay, so moving on. So if you haven't, invite your 3 people. We have talked about on this live so far, we have talked about the physical barriers that we need to do. The UV sun gloves, the UV protection sun gloves, so important. The making sure that while you're doing your household chores, that you have got some protection on, because all of those harsh chemicals, in addition to needing to wash your hands afterwards, wreak havoc on your hands. And so all of the treatments that you've applied are getting washed away every time you need to wash your hands. So when you're cleaning around the house, even doing laundry, you always wash your hands afterwards, right? Well, just get in the habit of using gloves like this. Okay, so then we went through all the skincare and what was necessary. You need a retinoid at night. You need a vitamin C and niacinamide in the morning. And also you can do the same types of peels that we talked about on the live that we used for the neck and the chest, which was a lactic acid or a mandelic acid. And also, I'm loving this. This is by Biosuns. This is the squalene oil, which I love as well because it works similar to a hyaluronic acid, but it's an oil based. So it really just gives you a bunch of nutrients. How do you get the goop off of your palms after you put it on the back of your hands? Oh, that's a really good question. I tend to, because if you're in a rush and you're just doing your sunscreen like this and you're rubbing your hands, I would take the back of your hands and rub your elbows. So it's a good place to deposit whatever skincare that you have on your palms that you don't want slippery palms, because this will soak it up like crazy and then you'll have nice looking elbows as well. So win-win. Okay, so another way that you can do that though, whoever asked that question, another way you can do that is have by the side of your sinks a sunscreen that's moisturizing like this. This is Eucerin. This is a daily hydration cream. It's very creamy, but it's a factor 30. And if you don't want to rub your hands all like this whenever you get done with washing your hands, use one of these little brushes. So you can have this by the side of your wherever you normally wash your hands, and you just paint on the sunscreen. It literally takes 30 seconds and the back of your hands are now protected. Okay, so I'm gonna do my other hand here. If you haven't invited your 3 people, make sure that you do that, because We have that giveaway. Every Sunday, I'm going to be doing a giveaway. So invite your 3 friends to the live now. Once I post it, tag 3 more people. You'll be in the giveaway for the adapalene, for the cotton gloves, and for the hyaluronic peptide. That's this week's giveaway. Next week, I'm not sure what I'm giving away yet, but I'm going to do the ultimate skincare routine to make sure that we have got actives in both your nighttime and your morning routine, and you're not just over applying moisture, which makes your skin cells lazy. So we're going to go over next Sunday, 11 a.m., that whole concept of like, what am I looking for in ingredients? What's really going to work? And you need to be specifically looking for keywords, which I'm going to go over all next week. So let's get this other hand done really quickly. Again, this is the Dr. Pen M8. I have a 16 gauge needle in here, and I'm just going to use that hyaluronic acid. And I like the Costa Baja hyaluronic acid. That's also in my Amazon store. And the reason is because it's just a pure hyaluronic acid. It creates a slip, so it lets this Dr. Pen M8 move across the hand seamlessly. But then when you get to the bony stuff, this stuff out here, you can stamp. So you just leave it in the place for just a little bit, stamp, and it's creating those micro traumas that are then calling on your body saying, something happened here. I need to come to the rescue and make collagen and make elastin and thicken up that skin, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for thicker skin on our hands, because when you have thin skin, it is a sign that you have lost collagen. And again, the reason why we're losing collagen quicker on our hands is because we're moving them all the time. So all of that, when you lose the fat and you lose that all of the tissue that's in there, then the anatomy underneath becomes very apparent, right? Your boniness, the veins, all of that becomes apparent. So we want to thicken that up, and the way to thicken that up is through retinoids and through things like this. The Dr. Pen, this is a microneedling tool, so this thickens it up. And then you need to protect. I mean, you can use the peels. Those thicken up as well. It seems counterintuitive because they peel the skin off, but they actually thicken up. Okay, moving on, we're going to go to red light therapy. I'm telling you, this red light therapy glove is a total game changer, and I use it. I try to use it every night. I have it downstairs by the TV. So you simply strap it on. It's cordless, right? You can plug it in here to charge it, and it's giving me the therapeutic wavelengths, right? You can't just turn red light on and shine a red light on something and call it red light therapy. It has to be the right wavelength. So this is a combination of red and near infrared, and it's between 630 and an 850 nanometer. So it's in that therapeutic wavelength that helps with fine lines and wrinkles, stimulates collagen, increases circulation, helps with all the discoloration, melasma, sunspots, all of that. Turns off automatically in 10 minutes. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I'll just go ding. I'll just turn it on 2 or 3 different times. But this is a great device for overall anti-aging of the hands. It kind of addresses everything. So if you are getting a lot of dryness, let's just say your hands cannot handle a retinoid, it just becomes too dry. First of all, try the Defrin gel, adapalene, which is it's a 3rd generation of a retinoid. There's not a lot of sensitivity, and you're still getting the same outcomes. So try that first, but also red light therapy is just great for overall, just the overall look of your skin. So of course I have the whole mask and the neck and décolletage attachment, which I showed you last week, but the one for the hands is just, it's made a giant difference in the look of my hand. So I'm not going to let this run because it'll run for 10 minutes, but this is by Omnilux. This is the Omnilux Contour Glove, and it works amazing just for the overall anti-aging of the hands. Good stuff here. Okay, so let me turn this off. So I want to just do a quick little, I want to show you one more thing. Okay, I'm almost 55. I do struggle with a little bit of arthritis in my hands, genetically, but you know, there's also a lot of foods and different things that you can eat that are anti-inflammatory diet, which I also do. But this by I think it's Lunix, basically works with the pressure points of your hands, and it squeezes your whole hand inside of here. It has a little bit of a massage and heat. But I have found that my arthritis in my thumbs has greatly improved because of this. So when we're talking about healthy aging, all of this outside stuff is so fun because, you know, it gives us that, you know, that instant satisfaction, or not instant, but, you know, couple months, you start seeing a difference. But you're not treating anything internally, right? Internally in the hands. You do with the red light therapy, because this hits your skin on a cellular level. It hits that mitochondria. It energizes the whole skin cell. So not only are you getting younger looking hands with this, but you're getting healthier hands. You're getting healthier structural hands, decreases inflammation, helps with joints, increases circulation. So there's a lot going on with this. And now we step it up with this device. Awesome, especially for people who have arthritis. Thanks for sharing this device. Yes, I'm telling my whole family, especially the women's side, suffers from arthritis. And I've noticed in using my phone a lot, because sometimes I edit on my phone, that my right thumb is like, what is going on? So I love this device. I usually have this down by the television as well, so that I am really not only treating the surface skin, but I'm treating the whole hand with this device. Okay, so a quick recap while this continues to go, because I don't want to go over the time. If you've just joined, like Tammy's Rude just joined, love that handle, by the way. If you've just joined, make sure that you invite your 3 people. So the little arrow, the little send button in your bottom right corner, hit that, hit 3 people there, invite them to the live right now. You will be in the drawing for this week's giveaway, which is the Deferin Gel, the Perfect Derma Hyaluronic and Peptide Serum, which I love, and the cotton gloves, which I talked about earlier. So these cotton gloves. So invite your 3 people. Once I post this to my main feed, then tag 3 more people. Your name will go in the drawing. Last week's winner was Taylor A. Caftans, which won a 1-hour healthy coaching session with me and this charcoal pumpkin mask. So just to recap, your first line of defense always is cover up. I mean, the sun causes 80% of all aging, and with your hands, it's even more, because your hands are always exposed. When you're driving, we wash our hands a lot. Our hands go through a lot. So make sure that you are covering up, and that is your first line of defense. Like, this has a little tech finger, so I can still work on my phone with this. But make sure that you are covering up. That's your first line of defense. And when you're doing household chores around the house, I don't care what it is, you usually wash your hands afterwards. I mean, just think about that. When you do laundry even, you wash your hands afterwards. Why? Just put on a glove, put on a treatment, even if it's like Aquaphor, put on your rubber gloves so your working gloves become part of your treatment, and go about your business that way. Okay, then next we talked about UV protection. So if you're not gonna do it this way with the gloves, you need to make sure that you're doing at least a factor 30. Now, one of my other sunscreens that I love, which I didn't talk about, is by CeraVe, or CeraVe, however you say that. This is the AM Facial Moisturizing Lotion. I oftentimes use this on the back of my hands, and the reason is because it's an SPF 30, but it also has niacinamide, 3 essential ceramides, and hyaluronic acid. So not only is it protecting your skin, but it's also helping with the niacinamide to lighten those dark spots. So protection plus treatment in one, that's good, right? We love that. So then I went on to At nighttime, you want to make sure you're using a retinoid. You might need to do an over-the-counter to get your skin used to it because your skin on the back of your hands is fragile. You need to treat it like you do your neck. You wouldn't put on the most intense retinoid like this. This is my intense one. This is a 0.05 tretinoin, which is prescription. I wouldn't put this on my neck. It would eat it up. You have to treat your hands similarly, right? So when you put it on your hands, you have to look at how crepey and thin that skin is and treat it accordingly. So I usually use like an over-the-counter retinoid for that. And then followed by, you can be followed by any sort of cream. I do like this squalene oil. And then you can sleep with these on, which usually end up in my sheets halfway through the night, but at least, you know, it's helping a little bit. And so then we need to look at creating microtraumas. You can also, you know, to thicken up the skin, you can do the peels that we talked about. So make sure that you check out that live that I posted if you're interested in doing chemical peels. But another way to thicken up the skin, which I love, which I have seen the best results in terms of around the eyes, neck and décolletage, and really whole face, is the Dr. Penn M8. So this can be used on the hands. And you can kind of see, this is post-treatment. You see there's a little bit right on this finger. There's a little speck of blood there. There's a little discoloration there. Now, I didn't do as intense of a treatment as I normally would do just for time's sake, but you get the idea, right? You put that on and then it's calling on your body to say, hey, come and produce more collagen. Thicken up that skin, produce more elastin. For those of you just joining, make sure you invite the 3 people. You'll go in the drawing. Right now, I am using this hand massager by Lennox, which is great for arthritis. So not only are we treating the exterior fun part that is like, you know, making your hands look younger, but make them behave younger, make them feel younger as well. Okay, so I'm gonna stop this. It's not the full treatment, but you can at least get an idea of what this does, because look at my hand now. This is post this massager. So what do you think that this is doing? This is really getting in there and increasing circulation. So all of those joints, it's squeezing here. So it's making sure that that blood is in there, nourishing all of those joints. I kid you not, this machine is unbelievable in terms of the function of your hands. So if you are one that is starting to experience, you know, the tech hands from like, you know, texting on your phone, or arthritis runs in your family like it does mine, this machine is great. We also did some red light therapy. Again, this is great for the function of your hands because it increases circulation, but also it works wonders in making your hands look younger. And then I want to talk just briefly about in office treatments. Whew. Getting a little tireder. I want to talk just briefly about in-office treatments, because if you go to my YouTube channel, which you will see in my linked tree on my profile, click that link tree, go down, you can see my one-on-one counseling, you can see my YouTube channel. There's over 140 videos on that YouTube channel, Live Young Lifestyle, helping you look and feel your best at every age and every stage of life, and expanding that health span, right? So not only are we expanding the number of years on the planet, but expanding the number of functioning, healthy, looking great years as well. That's kind of what that whole channel is about. But I did show injections in the hands. So that was, I want to say 5 years ago. You can kind of tell that it's worn out. And guess which hand looks a little bit older? Maybe it's just me, but this one, this is my right hand. I'm moving it more, right? So this is more prone to lose collagen. So about every 5 years, I'll go in and I'll get a little bit of Restylane, which is a collagen stimulator, injected into my hands. It helps this to build back up so you don't see the bones and the underlying veins. That is always an option as well. And then there's one more thing, you know, talking about the inside outs, there's one more thing that really helps the hands, and that is water. So I know that this seems like, younger looking hands, you need water. Yes, you do, because the skin is so thin that when you are dehydrated, which most of us are dehydrated, you'll really notice it in your hands. Your hands will get crepey, the bones and the veins will become more apparent. So you need to be drinking water. If you click on that link for my YouTube channel, you'll see that I did a whole video on water. You should be drinking half of your weight in ounces. So if you weigh 120, you should be drinking 60 ounces of water. That's just kind of a basic guideline, but check that video out and I will see you guys next week. Make sure you tag 3 people once I post this to my main feed, and I will see you next week where we are going to discuss really the ultimate skincare routine, morning and night. So I'll see you guys then. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye.